What's up guys, welcome to this video. Today's video, I'm actually doing a tutorial on how to use the Advanced Storm controller in the Advanced Storm Beacon, or just a Storm Beacon, whatever it's called, I don't even know. Yeah, the Advanced Storm Beacon. So let's get right into this. Last video, people were asking me to do a tutorial, so I'm doing it right now actually. And yeah, so first off, you need both of these. You will need one of the Advanced Storm Beacon. So, basically, let's go over it. The storm phases. If you want to make them default, I never like to do. Never. I always do custom. Basically, what default is it keeps on, like, you can't customize it. You can't use the Storm Beacon, it'll just keep on getting smaller and smaller. It's not that good. But, I like doing custom always. Now, the next one is the phase 1 radius, which basically is the starting phase radius. So what I like to do is it's basically just this, the radius of the first circle, however big you want it, or small. For this example, I'm going to be doing 50, but you guys can do something else. The delay time. This is the amount of time before the storm appears. You'll see the circle on your map. You'll see the circle, but the storm will not be there until that time is up. For example, I'm again going to be doing 15 seconds. Starting phase, always 1, and then late phase moves 1. Or, yeah, yes, I mean. Okay. Now, the next part. These. Now, this is something that everyone gets confused on. A lot of people. First, you want to make one of each, like, storm that you want to do. Each phase. So let's say you want to do 3 or 4. For in this example, I'm going to do 4. You want to make 4 of these. So I'm going to do, then on these you want to name 1, 2, 3, and 4, or however many you want. If you want to do 3, 2, 10, it doesn't matter. Then what you want to do, this one is probably the most confusing one. The first 2 are the most confusing ones. The first one, let's get into this. The end radius. For me, this is what I did. First of all, in this tutorial, I'm doing it how to make it randomly move. Not just inside, but also like outside the circle, make it randomly move. The next circle. That's what I'm going to do in this tutorial. I'm going to make another tutorial on how to make it randomly move inside. Actually, it might be some kind of in this video, but let's just continue. So, first of all, you do not want to override the first one. You do not want to override because you already have this one, which is the first circle. You do not want to override. Second, the wait time. This is whatever you want. Again, this is the before. So, you know how if there's a storm, there's like a circle, you're in a circle, and there's a storm around it, and then you'd see the next circle, and you might have a minute before it starts closing. This is basically the amount of time it is. So you can do whatever time you want. The resize time is the time it takes to actually form into that circle. So like when it's moving, it's the time it takes. It could go slow, which is a higher amount of minutes. It could be faster, which is a lower amount of seconds. So yeah. Then you want, for this situation, I'm just going to be doing kind of the lowest, except for the wait time, which is going to be 15 seconds, resize 30. Damage. Now, me personally, I always do 10, but you can do whatever damage you want. This is about preference. Most of these settings are about preference, just people don't know how to do them. Next is movement behavior. In this tutorial, I'm going to be doing, for what I did in my other video, I did don't override. Because that first circle, I wanted it to be here. But if you wanted the first circle to be randomly placed around the map, you could do move randomly, which basically means it'll be randomly around the map, pretty much anywhere. Now, this is, I'm going to be doing don't override just because I want it to be here. And then the minimum distance, keep at the minimum movement distance, and the maximum movement distance, keep don't override. Now, This is just for if you want it here. But let's say you didn't want it here, you want it anywhere on the map, you would have to do move randomly, which makes it randomly across the map. But for this, again, for this situation, I'm gonna do don't override because I want it here. Now, this one's much easier. Just a few more steps. So, this is how big you want the next circle to be. The end radius is how big you want the next circle to be. This situation, I'm gonna be doing 30. This is normally 50. Then I'm gonna do 30 for this one. The wait time is, again, like I said before, the amount of time before the circle starts closing. Again, I'm gonna do 15 seconds. Resize time, I'm gonna do 30 seconds, which I explained. Again, it is how long it takes to form into the next circle. Damage, 10. Now, this is important, these next three ones. For this one, if you want it to be randomly across the map, you want to do move randomly. But to make it a little bit more controlled, you want to do move distance minimum and move distance max. So, basically how this works is, let's say you were to put the move distance at 50. No, let's say 100. And you were to put the move distance max at 100 as well. This would basically mean from this, the middle of the circle, where I am, the middle of the circle could appear in any direction. The middle of the next circle could appear in any direction 100 meters away. So, that means it would have to go outside of the circle since the radius is only 50. But let's say we were to put the radius to 100, it would be right on the edge of the circle. So, like, let's just do this. Let's do the radius 100, and if we were to do the so 100 as well, that means the next circle, the middle of the next circle, could be anywhere on the edge. If you were to do 100 on each, but you can change it. So I'm just gonna put this back. Now, this is gonna be much easier. Actually, you don't really need these two. Next, you wanna actually duplicate the second one, and then turn this to a 3, duplicate this one, turn it to a 4, or however much you want. So still, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. So now, this is if you want the same things. So right now, you could do, but you always, this is not always, but if you want to make the circle to keep on going smaller, for the third one you want to do a little bit smaller, fourth one a little bit smaller, fifth one a little bit smaller, and like, just keep on going. So this basically means each circle is going to be a tiny bit smaller. Now, you can go around, mess with the settings if you want to change maybe not as far away when it moves. You can do that. If you want to do a little smaller each time, you can do that. Whatever you want. This, I'm just going to do this. So now, testing it. I'll just show you guys. So, when I go to my island, I'm just going to start the game. Let's just make sure this works. As you can see, circle, I'm gonna have to, I'm gonna end the game really quick and put it on map to make sure I'm not gonna cut out anything. I'll show you guys, so yeah, let's go. Okay, I just had to do one more thing so you can actually see the map. So, I just have to go to my island, and, where is it? Oh, map. Okay, default map. So now, if you were to start it, let me show you. None of the objectives show, because they all disappear, so you can really put it anywhere. Now, as you see on the map, here's the first circle. I have about 5 more seconds. before it starts. So right here, this is the wait time. Now, boom, storm's in. As you see, there's another circle. If you wanted this circle to be farther out, you have to make the minimum distance a little bit higher, and same thing with the maximum distance on the second one, since this is the second circle. If you want the storm to be a little bit slower, then put up the time. So yeah, this is the first circle. And yeah. Now, for this, I only did 4 circles. So this is the second one. If you want it to be bigger, just make the end radius bigger, whatever. I'm going to go into a recap, just recap everything after this. Now, the next circle is this. This is what I did. It's a little bit smaller. It's farther out. Now, this is completely random. This next circle could have been up here, right here, right here, right here. Like, anywhere else in that same amount of distance. So, yeah. And then the next circle, it's going to be a little bit smaller. But if you want to make it bigger for some reason, you could, just by making the end radius bigger. So yeah, this is basically just testing out everything just to make sure it works. And then after this, I'm going to recap everything just to tell you guys, just to make sure you guys didn't forget. So right now, there's one more circle after this, which is the final circle that I made. If you want to make another circle, you can, and make it a little bit smaller. The next one is, you can make it, I think, one more, like, a little bit smaller. But, yeah. That's pretty much it. But I'll go over the recap after this. And see, if you want to make it, again, smaller, then, if you want to make it farther out or closer, you can change the minimum and maximum distances. And basically, just do everything I told you, the basic, like, setup of things, and then you can customize some of the settings that you prefer. But anything I put don't override on, do not change those settings. Now, it will say again, but it really doesn't move. Because you can see the next circle, it doesn't move. So it's just a glitch. So if I end the game, and recap everything, just to make sure you guys do it, I'll show you the base things, the things that you have to do. So first of all, you have to do, on the advanced storm controller, you have to do custom. You have to do pick a phase 1 radius. Delay time, you can do whatever you want. Starting phase 1, usually you could do smaller for smaller circles, but I usually do 1 late phases move. I don't know if that matters, but I do, yes. Now this next one, make sure to always do this. End radius, don't override usually. Movement behavior, don't override. Move distance, minimum, don't override. Move distance, maximum, don't override. Now the next ones are 100% preference, everything else. It's where you want. Again, if you want it to move to the beacon, if you want to put it in a specific place, you just click move on beacon instead of move randomly. But yeah, then you copy this one. You copy this one for the next two, and change the numbers to 3 and 4, or however you want to do it. So that's basically it, guys. If you have any questions or you need help, just comment down below. And that's all I have today in the video. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Peace.